I'll call this December the 1st meeting to order. And the first order of business is our Pledge of Allegiance, led by Vice Mayor Vernon Curtis.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item of business tonight is the adoption of the proposed agenda for tonight. And before I call for a motion to adopt the agenda, I'm going to call on our Councilman, John Henning. He has an amendment to the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It would be agenda item 7C to discuss solicitations in the streets. Have some information for the about that.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to amend or to add or take away from the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt it. Make a motion to adopt. Second. All in favor? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the November the 3rd board minutes. Has everybody read them? Had an opportunity to look at them? Yes, ma'am.
Joyce moved and I seconded.
Oh, okay. All right. All in favor? Let's see, I've already got my marching orders tonight. I'm getting out of here.
Don't forget. 1 hour. Don't forget.
And we don't even have anybody signed up for the public session. Anybody wants to change their mind? Let's move on then. The next item of business is presentation on our fiscal year. Martin Starnes Associate, Andrew Bridges is back with us tonight.
Good evening, Mayor and Aldermen. Thank you for allowing us to serve as your auditors this year. We do not take this relationship for granted and truly appreciate your business and look forward to working with you in the future. We issued an unmodified opinion, which means we found no material misstatements that led us to believe the financial statements would be misleading to the reader. Otherwise, we gave a clean opinion. Your report has been approved by the Local Government Commission, and you have received final copies. This is an overview of the general fund, the town's main operating account. In the current year, revenues decreased about 1% from the prior year. Expenditures increased about 2% due to increases in general government, transportation, and public safety. More detail of the revenues and expenditures follow a little bit later in the presentation. From 2012 to 2013, fund balance decreased about 2%. From 2013 to 2014, it decreased about 3.5%. This decrease was partially due to increases in general government and public safety expenses, as well as a debt refunding in the prior year. To calculate available fund balance, we must take out any inventory or prepaid, also known as the non-spendables, which the town. Also, we take out stabilization by state statute, which is accounts receivables that are not offset by deferred revenues. So for the current year, available fund balance is about $1.7 million. The decrease in available fund balance is due to an increase in operating expenditures compared to the prior year, and partially due to the refunding. Available fund balance as a percent of general fund expenditures decreased about 2% from prior year, mostly due to an increase in the expenditures in the current year. Typically, 8% represents 1 month's supply of expenditures on hand. The town has roughly 6 months of expenditures on hand. The average available fund balance as a percentage of expenditures for your population group is about 71% as of 2013. The top 3 revenues for the general fund were property taxes at 49%, unrestricted intergovernmentals at 29%, and other taxes and license is mainly made up of fire tax at 15%. The next few slides give us more detail about the top 3 revenues. For Aldermen taxes, this includes taxes, penalties, and interest, as well as discounts. There was a slight increase of about 2% from the prior year due to increased efforts to collect taxes, as well as the new Tax and Tag Together implementation, which caused a 3-month overlap for motor vehicle collections. For unrestricted intergovernmentals, this includes sales tax, utility tax, telecommunication tax, occupancy tax, etc. But basically, this is comparable to prior year, with the exception of occupancy tax revenues for the Tourism Development Authority, which have been moved to a separate fund, and that accounted for about $103,000 in the current year. For other taxes and license, this includes privilege license and fire tax. There was an overall increase of about 3%. Mainly this increase is due to the economy slowly picking back up and fire tax revenues increasing. For the top 3 expenditures, we have public safety, which includes police and fire at 57%. General government includes governing body, administration, and legal at 19%, and transportation at 13%. Details of the top 3 expenditures follow on the next few slides. For public safety, there's a slight increase from year to year. Mostly we saw increases in the police salaries, and also there were some repairs to the fire department bays and driveway. For general government, we had about a 5.3% increase, and this increase is mostly made up of a decrease from the administration reimbursement. And transportation expenditures increased about 36%, but this was budgeted for and is due to repairs of roads and sidewalks, as well as the trading and leasing of the backhoes this year. For your water and sewer operating income, your cash increased due to the Clean Water State Revolving Loan proceeds that were issued in the current year, as well as your revenues decreasing due to tax and connection fees decreasing about $106,000. Operating expenditures increased due to the leasing of the new backhoe and repair work of cleaning out the basins of the water and sewer plant. Here we compare the water and sewer fund from the prior year for required debt service, cash flow from operations, and unrestricted net position. Required debt service increased as a result of the increase in principal retirement of $270,000. Cash flow from operations increased due to the loan proceeds being issued, and unrestricted net position in the water and sewer fund serves as your working capital or your fund balance. This is what you're available for spending. To conclude, if you have any specific questions about the audited financials, please direct those questions towards Summer or Edlin. I would like to guide you to review the management discussion and analysis, which is located at the front of the audited financials. The MD&A gives a great summary of what occurred in fiscal year 14, reasons for increases and decreases, as well as a look forward to the fiscal year 2015.
Maybe the board has any questions?
Sounds like they're keen into the meeting, doing that.
That's the questions that I've written down, pretty much
That was.
But you quite well explained it, thank you.
You have any questions or comments to the board?
Other than I just appreciate Summer and emailing me and answering kindly, and I look forward to working with Edlin.
We look forward to working with you also. Thank you, ma'am. Item number 7, alcohol beverage control
Mr.
board.
Mayor, typically, board needs to vote to just accept the audit report.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I'll entertain a motion to that effect. Who would like to make it? Okay, second. All in favor? Thank you for keeping us track. Appreciate that. Item number 7 is the Alcohol Beverage Control Board.
Enclosed in your agenda packet is a letter from the ABC store manager, Mr. Todd Mason. Board member Wayne Swank's term is expiring today, actually December 1st of this year, and the ABC board has recommended to the town board to ask for the reappointment of Mr. Wayne Swank for a 3-year term, which would expire December of 2017.
Okay. We want to hear a motion to that effect.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor? We need to set a public hearing for rezoning petition for 2 parcels of land on Panel Lane, land use administrative adjustment section.
Yes, in your packet, last month forwarded 2 petitions from Macon County to the planning board for to have their comments and their recommendations. Well, the planning board met back in November the 17th and reviewed the packet. And in your packet, you will see my staff comments and also a map of the 2 parcels off of Panel Lane. Macon County is requesting to have these parcels rezoned from R1 to I1, Industrial 1. And the planning board met, and these 2 parcels meet all the minimum standards for industrial, all the minimum acreage, setbacks, everything that would size for it to be rezoned. And the planning board voted to send a recommendation on to have these parcels rezoned. So now just need to set a public hearing if you deem it necessary.
Okay, and so the next regular board meeting would be fine for you? You're okay with that? Okay. So that would be January the 5th meeting. All right, so would someone want to make a motion to set that public hearing on January the 5th at 7:05 p.m.? Got it, moved. Good. It's seconded by Barbara. All in favor? Okay. There's a budget amendment for the finance department. Madam Manager, you're going to present.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, what you have before you is a budget amendment, and it's actually looking to approve $26,970, take that from administration line item and salary and place that into finance salary.
Any discussion? Motion? Second. Second. Okay. All in favor? Need a resolution creating a new employee position. Madam Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Town Board. What you have before you in your agenda packet is a resolution to create a new employee position. Article 2, Section 6 of the Town of Franklin Personnel Policy states that new positions shall be established upon recommendation of the town manager and approval of the town board. And what I'm asking the board tonight is to approve a position titled Accounting Technician to assist the town with payroll and accounts payable.
Any discussion? Anybody want to make a motion? Okay. It's a second. All in favor? All right, we have another appointment. This is to fill a vacancy on the Tourism Development Authority Board. Connie Gruberman, let's see, I'm going to leave this up to County Manager to present this.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. What you have before you tonight is the TDA's recommendation to appoint Connie Gruberman to fill the vacancy of Mike Gruberman on the Tourism Development Authority Board with the unexpired term beginning effective December 1st, 2014 until June the 1st of 2015.
Anybody have any questions or discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to make that appointment. Second. All in favor? We have another appointment. This is the appointment of Matt Bateman to the Tourism Development Authority. Madam Manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The next appointment, the TVA board had voted to recommend the reappointment of Matt Bateman to the Tourism Development Authority for a 2-year term, which would be effective December 1st through December 1st of 2016.
Any discussion? All entertain a motion to that effect? Okay, a second? All in favor? All right, the next item is the approval of the 2015 board's regular meeting schedule. Madam Manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Town Board, what you have before you tonight is a list. All I'm asking is for acceptance and approval of the 2015 Town Board meeting schedule, which is always the first Monday of each month at 7 p.m. with the exception of Labor Day, which follows on a Tuesday.
Any discussion?
Make a motion to approve it.
Okay. Second? Thanks, Barbara. All in favor? All right. Okay, we need an approval of the 2015 Town of Franklin holiday schedule. Madam Manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, what you have before you is the 2015 proposed town holiday schedule, and I've included in your agenda packet, it follows the state schedule as well. And all we're asking for tonight is just approval of that set holiday schedule for 2015.
Any discussion? All, entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor? The next item is the discussion on the 2015 Town Board Retreat. Madam Manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Town Board, what you have before you is, just wanted to get some discussion and your thoughts on when you would like to schedule your annual retreat, which would be January of 2015. I looked at previous dates from last year. Last year you held it on Saturday, January the 18th. 2 dates that I had looked at for your consideration. I looked at Saturday, January the 17th, and Saturday, January the 24th.
Okay, is any discussion on that? Any preference to those 2 dates? Are those 2 dates okay? And then pick one up. What do you think? Good, sorry, we got a lot of important things to discuss at that meeting, so, if somebody want to choose one of them? Okay, Barbara, you choose it. You shrugged your shoulders, that means you're going to choose it. 24th, okay, is that agreeable with everyone? If so, I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
Mr. Mayor, I'm
Yes.
so sorry. Would 9 a.m. be appropriate for everyone?
Sure. I think so, I'm speaking.
Sorry.
Spoke out of turn.
At Town Hall.
Okay, 9 o'clock. Is that all right with the 4th estate?
I think that's actually later than.
You schedule it, I'll be.
Okay, what do y'all want to eat? Hey, you got to drive these people.
Steak and eggs, I mean, don't put a whole.
Think of us at the same time.
What day did they decide?
9 o'clock. All right, Mr. Henry, Counselor, you have a, I thought this sort of did. All right, we'll make it formal. I'll entertain a motion we need on the
Since I
town
came up
retreat.
with the date.
That's right. You better make the motion. All in favor? All right, that's January the 21st at 9 o'clock here in Newport. Counselor, you have a item of the consideration on the business license ordinance.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. This is largely in the same form as it's been the past couple of months we've discussed. The purpose of it is, again, to make up for the loss of regulatory function that we're going to have when we no longer have a privilege license, ability to exercise privilege license taxing authority. In addition to that, and as we discussed last meeting, we have not had in place an ordinance to regulate pawnbrokers, mill dealers, and other second-hand dealers that we should have. This will fix that problem and give us the regulatory control that we have needed over those businesses. There are 2 corrections I want to, well, there's 1 correction and 1 change I want to bring to your attention. On section 110.04 application, subsection B, I had tax collector, that should have read town manager. And so I would, as you consider it, I would make that amendment. And also, I wanted to point out to you that in section 110.30, fee not to exceed, and I had put in $25. This is a fee that would cover the expense of a pawnbroker background check, which we are required to make sure gets done with all pawnbrokers. I have changed that to $75 because in talking with Danny Bates, I understand that the actual cost to the town of running a background check is fairly substantial, and $25 is not even within shouting distance of it. So that will recoup most of, probably not all of the cost in doing so, but not be prohibitive to those businesses getting into the business. With that said, following the meat of the ordinance, the guts of it you have in front of you first, the new chapter 110 is the ordinance that adopts and puts this into effect. That's what I will ask you to consider and adopt with the language changes that we've discussed in the ordinance itself. I would just bring your attention again to the fact that the other regulatory functions of this will go into effect on July 1st when our privilege license taxing authority is completely gone. But the second-hand dealers, pawnbrokers, and so forth, that will be effective as soon as you say the word and pass the ordinance. I'd be happy to answer any questions about that.
Make the motion to approve it.
Second.
All in favor? All right, Councilman, Madam Manager, you have a request about a natural gas easement request.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Town Board. I was approached a couple weeks ago by Tacoma Natural Gas, and what they're requesting tonight is to allow, if you'll look in your packet, and I've also placed before you some colored photos of the area in which they're looking at. They are requesting to tap into the town's natural gas line, which is where the yellow flag is, the several flags in the photos that I've showed you, is where the tank is located. They're asking to tap onto the town's tank and be able to run a natural gas service over to the new restaurant next door. The new restaurant would actually, on that wall right there in this one photo, would have a separate meter, which would be on their wall. And this would, I asked if there was any alternatives to that, and their main concern with being able to tap onto the town system instead of going through the Bowery's location is there's some fiber lines and some buried cable that they're worried about hitting. They said this would be the cleanest approach. And I asked the town attorney just to verify that for me as well, and I'll turn that over to him and let him comment.
And I have given you, I didn't know Summer was going to have these really nice glossy photos for you, so I might have this dainty little overhead projection from the tax map that shows you roughly where in between the buildings, you all are familiar with it. It's basically the entire space between the buildings would be eligible for this easement, but it's one line. They might occasionally, it is a 15-foot wide easement, which is pretty standard for utility lines. The easement that I'm recommending you grant, Tacoma is going to accept this. It has them agreeing not to disturb any sidewalks, plans, other improvements, and repair those at their sole expense if there were any damages to those. The other thing you would have to do in order to grant this easement, and it is in your agenda packet, is that the manager needs to send to the Sun, it's not Sun Trust, that is Sun Trust, who holds the mortgage on the property, just a release of that easement so we can grant it and not worry that it runs afoul of our findings. But that's essentially the long and the short of it. Again, you have to answer the questions you may have.
I haven't seen any fee in there for these.
And we didn't ask for any such, but we certainly can negotiate about it if you'd like to.
I should have at least $1 in there to make a fee. All the ones that I did.
Well, we did, I think we do with some consideration, but not any money consideration. I can Yeah, we can try
No,
to
I
squeeze
just,
as much
I was
money
just
out of it.
asking. I was just asking.
It's got enough in there to be legal. I promise
Any comment, or question? All right, I'll entertain the motion to accept it. Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor? And this is the other item that we put on the agenda. Counselor, you're going to speak to the solicitation situation.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I have put in front of you a copy of the statute, it's NCGS 20-175. There are this concerns, and Farrell brought up last meeting the question, and we've had it come up quite a bit about solicitations that are occurring in the streets. There are three basic options, and one is you have the authority to regulate charitable solicitations anywhere in the town. You could just choose to regulate it under that authority in the streets, and we'd have to go about crafting some kind of way to do that. That is sensitive to First Amendment concerns and equal access. The next alternative is, and it's in this statute, that you can adopt a system of permitting that would require those charities to obtain a permit at least 7 days before any solicitation. They would have to specify the date, the location, the time that they're going to be soliciting, the number of solicitors that they'll have. We would be, the town be able to charge a fee of no more than $25 per permit. They would be required, and this is the one that we had talked about in the past, that says we can require a $2 million insurance policy that party would have, and they also indemnify the town for their activities. So, and then if they cause any kind of delay in the streets or any kind of other hostile situation, it's a misdemeanor. The third alternative is to do nothing, and this same statute that I'm showing you makes it generally prohibited to stand in a main travel portion of a state highway and solicit funds. It does not carry any criminal penalty that I can find, and I can't make a whole lot of sense of that thing. I don't think it's a very good enforcement mechanism. It would empower, I think they are now, I guess, theoretically empower law enforcement to go say, you're in violation of this statute, you need to go along. But if they don't, there's no penalty unless you adopt the permitting method. And so, I think if we're going to do it, I'd bring it back to you at your next meeting. But I'd like some direction from the board if you would like an ordinance to consider that would put into effect those requirements that I just described to you.
Feeling of the board on which direction our council should take on this.
I like to see the police department.
Well,
What they had to look at also, probably
Chief, you or Danny, either one, you want to speak to this?
We get complaints every time they show up. My only concern is going to be other civic groups. We're going to require them to have a $2 million policy. But if I'm not correct, you said it's only on state maintained roads?
It is, and I don't, that's a good question. We might have to look at
We probably need to make it fit both.
exercising the other authority we have to regulate generally in the town. We would also say in town streets as well. But that is a good point.
Basically, all we have right now is impeding the flow of traffic. And they're not doing that, they're wearing traffic vests. But I think we do need to adopt something.
But they still impede, because if they stop.
Somewhat.
Yeah, somewhat. Because I sit there and watch the lights.
And obviously, the people of Macon County and Franklin are very generous because they keep coming back every few weeks.
This is something, I'd like to see the media help us out a little bit with this thing. There is no law that says you have to give to anybody standing on the road. Absolutely none. And this was how Asheville solved that problem with the issue that's at hand right now, the same thing. They finally moved over.
What did they ever do this time?
People just quit giving.
Oh, okay.
They went to more fertile ground.
Yeah, but how, I mean, you got.
Well, we just have to get rid of the guilt feeling of not giving. Somehow, so.
And I
But
think,
then you're gonna stand behind them and say, no.
This has been in the paper for the last several years, and if they were gonna do that, they would have done it.
John, do we have to, would it have to be, let's say, like, let one group not have to?
no, I mean, I think that you do start
Because it was
to
like
run
the next
afoul.
week Salvation Army was out there doing it, and I thought, well, good for them, they at least got on the bandwagon and people do it.
I have found, though, that it's pretty easy for an organization of any real size, like a Rotary, without any money down, it didn't cost the local club a thing to get onto a national policy that covered most anything like this they wanted to do. So I think any group worth its salt can get this kind of insurance.
Well, the 4 or 5 organizations that I've talked with all have umbrella policies that cover this. And if they're not in an organization of some type, they probably shouldn't need to be up there either.
Can we limit the intersections? If we take away those big intersections, the 2-lane roads only, can we do that?
Well, what the
That'd
statute
be
says,
safer.
and I was taking a look at this, I think the authority is to adopt this for state highways or local streets. It already says not including sidewalks, so they can operate from sidewalks. They can operate in, in parking lots. That's not gonna, don't have the authority to stop them from doing that anyway. But it would take away intersections for certain. Isn't that where the problem spot is?
That's the only place they show up.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I think if we eliminate that intersection, that might help solve the problem or reduce the problem.
I don't think that there's much effort to do it anywhere else anyway. So I think that if we do it generally and not just at intersections, it will take care of that. Well, I'm sensing the consensus of the board is let's look at an ordinance next
Yes.
month. Okay. I'll draft one and get it to you.
Any other comments, questions? Okay. So basically, we just got a consensus tonight, not a motion. Okay, that pretty well covers the agenda. I have some announcements. Second night for Winter Wonderland is going to be this Saturday, December 6th from 5 to 8. The county employee luncheons December 19th at noon at Fat Buddies. And the town hall offices will be closed on December 24th, 25th, and 26th for Christmas. And I'd like to take a little privilege here and say that I just want to publicly thank what all the town employees did for the Winter Wonderland and the decorating. The town was great. There was a huge crowd at Winter Wonderland. And I just can't thank the town employees and all the volunteers that we had making the town really look sharp and putting on a great event. All right, let's go around the table. Joyce? Quit looking at you.
I'm kidding, I really don't have anything right at the moment.
How about next meeting? Okay. Farrell?
I've already covered any issues I have.
Mr. Billy?
No, sure, say that.
Patty? Mark?
I think we should make a chapter and hold on. Real law, yes.
Well, I think we can't leave.
I didn't get to see him, I got to see Chad.
Would y'all like to stand and take a bow?
I'm a team player.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I'd like to make a motion that next year that the chief of police wear that.
Are they looking for somebody
This is not a slot for this coming
Oh, for
Friday.
Saturday?
Yeah, for Saturday.
What are you doing, chief? This-
I'm helping Summer Saturday.
How about somebody from the media? That would be pretty cool.
I'm biased.
I'm great with that. And Berlin.
I'm not going to do that.
No, I don't know.
Okay, guys, thanks to everybody. There being no further business, we're going to get out to 10 and breakfast time. Thanks all, and everybody have a good Christmas, and we don't see you before then. Meeting adjourned. Technicalities. All in favor?